Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is a reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 74, text number 35. Varnashrama kulapitaha sarvadharma bahishkrutaha Swaravart Swaravarti Gunair Hina Saparyam Katam Arhati Varnashrama Kulapita Sarvadharma Bahishkrutaha Swaravarti Gunerhina Saparyam Katamarhati Varnashrama Kulapitaha Sarvadharma Bahishkrutaha Saravarti Gunerhinaha Saparyam Katamarhati. Matajis. The Shabdartha, so this is Varna of the principles of the four occupational orders of society. Ashrama of the four spiritual orders. Kula and of proper family upbringing. Apetaha, devoid. Actually, just a note here that this varna, ashram, kula, that all the it's of this, it comes with this apetaha. So this taha is the, that's telling you that this is the panchama vibhakti or the shashti. It's like, shashti, not panchama, shashti vibhakti, that it's of all these things. So, sarva, from all. Dharma, codes of religious duty. Bahihi kritaha, excluded. Vaida, independently. Varti, behaving. Gunaihi, qualities. Hinaha, lacking. Saparyam, worship. Katam, how. Arhati, deserves. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. How does one who follows no principles of the social and spiritual orders or of family ethics, who has been excluded from all religious duties, who behaves whimsically and who has no good qualities, how does such a person deserve to be worshipped? Purport. Srila Prabhupada comments, actually, Krishna does not belong to any caste, nor does he have to perform any occupational duty. It is stated in the Vedas that the Supreme Lord has nothing to do as his prescribed duty. Whatever has to be done on his behalf is executed by his different energies. Shishupal indirectly praised Krishna by saying that he is not within the jurisdiction of Vedic injunction. This is true because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That he has no qualities means that Krishna has no material qualities, and because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he acts independently, not caring for conventions or social or religious principles. Unquote. Om Ajnana Thimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabhadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vikasha Swaminiti Namane. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauravdishe Namaha. Panchatatmatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Surupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam. He Krishna Kuruna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. How does one who follows no principles of the social, spiritual orders or family ethics, who has been excluded from all religious duties, who behaves whimsically, and who has no good qualities, how does such a person deserve to be worshipped? This shloka is spoken by Shishupal in criticism of Lord Sri Krishna, And he asked this question in a rhetorical sense, that in his mind, such Krishna is unqualified, he doesn't follow any principles of the social or spiritual orders or family ethics, who is excluded from all religious duties, he behaves whimsically, he has no good qualities. He says, how does such a person deserve to be worshipped? So the answer here is given in the purport by Prabhupada and by our acharyas. And so one thing I would like to point out, first of all, is that the asuras, they also follow religious principles, evidently. Otherwise, why does Shishupal think that his criticism has force? So, first of all, we have the principles of the social and the spiritual order. And the family ethics, all those things are taken together. So he has considered to be devoid of all those. Now, what does this really mean? Srila Prabhupada says here, actually Krishna does not belong to any caste, nor does he have to perform any occupational duty. So why is that? So Krishna says in Gita, Chaturvarnyam maya surushtam guna karma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram apimam vidya kartaram avyayam. So this is from the 4th chapter of the Gita, shloka number 13. So a few points to note here. Chatur varnyam maya srishtam. So maya is, this is, this chatur varnyam maya is created by me. The srishtam. This is creation by me. So Krishna is creating it. Therefore, Krishna is transcendental to it. So therefore, Krishna does not have any caste because he creates all the castes, nor does he have any social order because he creates all the social orders. So, therefore, the question is, when Krishna appears as a kshatriya, or sometimes as a brahmana, or in any other order of life, or any other status of life, or species of life, then what is Krishna's position? He does it as Leela. Krishna does it because he wants to do it. It's his pleasure. Vinodartam. So this is why Krishna takes birth. So therefore, what's happening here is that what's happening there is very wonderful in the language. So first of all, we are actually enjoined by our acharyas, to understand the Shastra in its most direct form. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada has written a book called Bhagavad-gita Yatarup, Bhagavad-gita as it is. Okay? So when Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati, that only by devotional service I can be understood, some people give an interpretation of that. It is not to Krishna, it is something else. Or patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhaktya pranashyati. So that, you offer your obeisances to me, always remember me, become my devotee. All these things, that it's to Krishna that we do these things. So, therefore, when Shishupal is speaking here, well, this is the Bhagavatam here. This is being recounted. He's actually speaking the truth. But the truth has to be understood in relation to Krishna. So when even a Shishupal talks about Krishna, then we have to understand what this means in relation to Krishna. So Krishna, his actual position is he is not actually, doesn't actually have any caste. So we have to understand it like that. So this is the difference between an asura and a devotee. An asura, he will never accept the supremacy of God. Even if he hears, he will never accept. So therefore his understanding is always wrong. So this Varnashram Dharma system, Krishna has given this Varnashram system. So what is the purpose of this system? The purpose of this system is to bring people from the animal life to the civilized state of life. So animal life is ahara bhaya nidramaitunam cha. Then dharmena hina pashubir samana. So without the religion, a man is just like an animal who eats, sleeps, mates, and defends. So in order to rise above animal life, because practically animal life is a very miserable thing, this Varnashram system is required. So Krishna gives this system so that we may be elevated. So when we come to the mode of goodness, that is the life of a Brahmana. So a Brahman knows what is Brahman. But beyond Brahman, which is the fundamental spiritual state, beyond material nature, there's also Krishna in his personal form. Therefore, when the Lord, when Shishupal says he has no qualities, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have any material qualities, but it means he has transcendental qualities. So it is only from this platform of Brahman that one can even begin to start making progress in devotional service. Brahma bhuta prasanatma na shochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. So he can become his devotee once you actually become situated on the platform of goodness. Then from the sattva gun, one can come to the state of the Shuddha sattva gun, to the leisure. And so another consequence of Krishna's supreme position is that Krishna's energies, they execute his will automatically. So from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, it is said, Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shuryate Swabhavaki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. So we see some examples of this. So like in the when Krishna was about to appear on this planet, there was a very wonderful arrangement. There was a very pleasant atmosphere. The stars were lining in the right way that it's going to foretell that there's a great personality who's about to take birth. All the brahmanas who were fearful of Kamsa, they were able to somehow or other perform their sacrifices without any fear. So they were wonderful. It was a wonderful fragrance, from the flowers and the forest, the blooming, everything was there. So that's an example that when Krishna comes, things just automatically take place. Another example, Keshava Kashmiri in Chaitanya Leela. So he was going around the country, he was going and defeating pundits and defeating them, and becoming very famous and taking the way of pride of everybody. So now he was coming to Navadvip. And so there the Pandits are also afraid that Keshava Kashmiri has come. And although Navadvip is also famous for its scholarship and its Pandits and its logic, still Keshava Kashmiri was a very formidable opponent. So now there was a thinking, okay, we have Nimai Pandit because he's a junior, let him try, and if he fails, no one will find fault with him because he hasn't come to the real Pandits. So actually, there's a saying in Nyaya, in Mimamsa Nyaya, there's a logic. So it's called Pradhana Mala Nirvahana Nyaya. So what this means is, if you're attacking an argument, so you should attack the strongest argument, and then all the lesser arguments are also considered defeated. So similarly, just like, for example, you take the strongest wrestler, the Pradhana Malla. You take the Pradhana Malla and you defeat him, then you've defeated all the other wrestlers, and you don't need to wrestle with anybody else. So same way, this is a strategy in logic. If you defeat the strongest argument, you don't need to defeat any other argument. So, where was he? Okay, yes. This is Keshava Kashmiri. So Keshava Kashmiri, he came, and so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu debated him and at once defeated him. So by doing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established himself as the greatest Pandit in Navadvip. He established himself. And so, but still the thinking was, if Keshava Kashmiri could not defeat even, just a humble teacher of grammar, how is he going to defeat any of the greater Pandits in Navadvip? So the contest was settled immediately. But that arrangement by which Lord Chaitanya and Keshava Kashmiri met, it was also automatically arranged by the Lord. It was just, he wanted it to happen, and so it happened. So Keshava Kashmiri came along the bank of the Ganges, Mahaprabhu was there, they happened to meet, and then they had this debate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not need to send by courier an invitation to Keshava Kashmiri. He didn't need to send it a courier or a sweet box or anything like that. It just happened automatically. So this is Krishna's potency. Svabhavaki jnana bala kriya cha, that it happens automatically by his will. Another example, the Lord's killing of Kalayavana and the liberation of Muchukunda. So Krishna had come from Vrindavan to Mathura, and so Mathura is facing a great danger. So on the one hand, you had Kalayavana, and with his army of Yavanas, who was going to conquer Mathura, and then you had Jarasandha, who was attacking. So Krishna, he demonstrated his independence by defeating Kalayavana in a very wonderful way. So what he did was, he was on the battlefield, and instead of meeting Kalayavana head on, because he's actually, he's not a civilized person, why should I, why should I fight with this, he's not even civilized. So he just ran from the battlefield, and that looked like he was abandoning his duties, which is what Shishupal is getting. And so he ran, and Kalayavana tried to catch up with him. Then he ran into a cave, and he said, I've got you now, I've got you cornered. And then Kalayavana went into the cave, he saw somebody laying down, thought it was Krishna, kicked him. It was Muchukunda, who had the blessing that whoever untimely woke him from slumber, he'd burn him completely to ashes with his eyes, which is what he did. So this is Krishna. No matter how smart we think we are, that Krishna, he's always smarter. He can do things very wonderfully. He doesn't even need to personally do things. He just, by his own arrangement, or by the arrangement of his energies, things happen. So, Krishna is not within the jurisdiction of the Vedic injunctions. This is another important point, and this is actually a very important point. This is the key to the success of why the Krishna consciousness movement coming through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is successful, and why, practically speaking, every other Sanatana Dharma institution that does not accept the supremacy of Krishna is not successful. So there have been many attempts by different Andolans, by different missions who are Sanatana Dharma, and we can say also legitimately follow Sanatana Dharma. They try to, sometimes they try to convert people, back to Hindus. If they've left the Hindu fold, they try to convert them back. And maybe they get some people and everything like that. But practically speaking, no one has been able to go outside of India, outside of the culture of India, into all the peoples of the world, and to actually make them devotees. This is a special mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming through our acharyas and Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON. This is a very special thing. So why has that happened? So an example to understand how this is possible, consider that Krishna, after defeating Bhaumasura, he married 16,100 princesses stolen by Bhaumasura. Now the Vedic system was in those days that if a girl ever leaves her father's house for the night somewhere, then she's considered untouchable. No boy will marry her, because that's the Vedic system, because now we cannot guarantee that she is unspoiled by some other man. But Krishna, nevertheless, after defeating Bhaumasura, all these princesses, they were Krishna's great devotees. And within their hearts, they accepted him. They wanted him as their husband. And Krishna, being bound by affection, said, yes, I will become your husband. And so Krishna, therefore, just by being in the association of Krishna, whatever fault or whatever, this was, this was immediately erased. And Krishna, being independent, he did not care for these rules. Okay, yes, they were with Bhaumasura, but I don't care for those rules. So, this pastime of the killing of Bhaumasura, of the liberation of Bhaumasura, actually establishes, actually shows by example how Krishna is completely independent. So, the pastime, Bhaumasura, as his namesake is, he is actually the son of goddess Bhumi. He's actually the son of the earth. So, this is something we see. It's like devotees, even devotees we see among us. Sometimes, we have children, and some of the children, and some of them turn out to be, not so nice children. So this is the case with the Devatas too. So Bhumi, she had a child, Bhaumasura, became an asura. Prahlad had a son, Virochana. He was also not a devotee. And so what Bhaumasura did was he had stolen the earrings of Aditi, the mother of the demigods. He had also stolen the umbrella of Varuna Dev. And he had stolen these 16,100 princes and so much wealth and so forth. So, and then one time, and then also Bhaumasura, he conquered a part of the Mount Meru called Mani Parvata. So Mani Parvata, that must mean like the jeweled mountain, right? Mani means jewel. So Mani Parvata. So this is a very expensive part of Mount Meru. It's the jewel peak. So then what happened is, Indradev, king of heaven, okay? He's like the most powerful person in the material world, comes to Krishna in Dwarka and says, my dear Krishna, this has happened. Can you please do something about this? Because it's obviously it's out of Indra's hands. This Bhaumasura is very powerful, more powerful than Indra. So Krishna says, okay, we'll do it. So he took Satyabhama with him, and he got on Garuda, and they went to the city of Bhaumasura. His city's name is Pragjyotishapura. So he flew on Garuda to the city, and he just started attacking the city. Krishna single-handedly. It was very well defended. They had electric wires. They had gas weapons. They had all sorts of modern defenses, even by today's standard. And so destroyed the defenses. Then there was a great demon named Mura, who was responsible for the city's defenses, and he killed him. He had 5 heads, and then he killed Mura's 7 sons. And then Bhaumasura himself came out with his army, elephants, and so forth, and Krishna killed him too, and all his soldiers, and elephants. And so then Krishna took these queens. And in the course of doing this, so Krishna went and he returned all these, Mother Goddess Bhumi came and he returned the earrings. Okay, this is what my soul stole. Here's Aditi's earrings. Here's Varuna's umbrella. Here's another valuable jewel. And you can, and please accept this. Please accept this garland, this Yajayanti garland. And, please accept my prayers and please, here's my grandson, actually. Please also make him a devotee. Please console him because he just lost his father. So so now a question arises that if Krishna, he's independent of the of these regulative principles of the Vedic injunctions, and he can of social injunctions, and he marries these queens, apparently against the principles of Vedic regulations and family ethics. Then does that mean we can also do the same? And the answer is no. And the reason the answer is no is because for someone who is Krishna conscious, the definition of someone who is Krishna conscious is Sarva Bhuteshu Ya Pashyad Bhagavad-bhavamatmanaha. So, Bhutani Bhagavat Yatman Yesha Bhagavadottamaha. That the Lord is, that one who is an Uttama Adhikari, he sees Sarva Bhuteshu Ya Pashyad Bhagavad-bhavamatmanaha. So, Sarva Bhuteshu, so in all living entities, Ya, one who, Pashyad, sees Bhagavad-bhavam Atmana. He sees the nature, he sees the Krishna within those living entities. Then, Bhutani Bhagavat Yatman, so, and he sees all living entities situated within Krishna. So, what are the Vedic rules and regulations? That's also part of this. He sees everything within Krishna and Krishna within everything. So these Krishna, that all the Vedas, Sarvasya Chaham Hridisana Mata Smritirgyanam Apohanam Cha Vedaishcha Saver Ahameva Vedyaha, that by all the Vedas I am to be known. So these Vedic regulations are for helping us remember Krishna. Therefore, for some people who are perfect in remembering Krishna, they do not require the Vedic regulations, and therefore they become just as independent as Krishna himself. But for those of us who are not perfect in remembering Krishna, we need help. Just like, for example, if you have to sing a song, sing some bhajan for Krishna, and maybe you don't know the song well enough, then you require the signboard. You require someone to, say, here's the songbook. You read from this. So Vedic regulations are like that we're not perfect in remembering Krishna. Therefore, by following the regulations, we remember Krishna. So now to the secret of success. How is Prabhupada successful in preaching this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world to all sorts of people, even to those who had nothing to do with the Vedic culture, who were not born in Vedic culture? How is this? Srila Rupa Goswami says, Yena tena prakarena mana krishne naveshayat. Then sarve vidhi nishedaha syur etayor eva kinkaraha. Kinkaraha. So kinkaraha means servants. Okay, they're servants. And what are they? Etayor, servants of what? They are servants, the sarve, that the vidhi nishedha, that the things, that the rules for what to do and the rules for what we're not to do, they become servants of what? Fixing the mind on Krishna. Niveshayet. Manha Krishna niveshayet. So Krishna means in Krishna. So manaha. So fix the mind in Krishna. It becomes. So by fixing the mind in Krishna, what happens? The mind becomes purified, right? The mind becomes purified. What happens? One becomes a devotee. One's devotion of mood becomes. And when one becomes a devotee, one sees that, oh, all these rules and regulations are there to help me remember Krishna. Let me follow these rules so that I can remember Krishna even more. That should be the mood of the devotee in the intermediate stage. That's the mood. Even the beginning stage, even a Kanishta Bhakta, he should have this understanding that, yes, let me follow these rules and regulations. Of course, a Kanishta Bhakta, he is, it's like a mango. A mango is, sometimes it's not ripe and then it becomes ripe. There's a gradual thing. But this should be the mood. For those of us who are not perfect in remembering Krishna, we should remember this. So this is the paradox, that the devotee who's also perfect in realizing Krishna, then he no longer needs these rules because he's already perfect in remembering Krishna. But these rules are for remembering Krishna. And so, therefore, Prabhupada, he acted just like Krishna. He was independent just like Krishna. So many people criticized him. So many people from Sanatana Dharma, who are Sanatana Dharmis, that they said, Krishna, he's given this Krishna consciousness to non-Hindus. Or he's made brahmanas out of them. How can he do that? Well, the reason he could do that is because he had the faith in Krishna. Because he's Sarva Bhuteshu Yapashyad Bhagavad Bhavam Atmanaha. He's realized Krishna, and therefore he knows how to apply the Vedic injunctions. So therefore, when we see Prabhupada, he did so many things that looked like they was against Vedic injunctions. Just like, letting women live in the temple. In the West, there are no temple facilities, so what to do? First, at least let them come, stay in the temple, fix the mind on Krishna, even there's some problem. And there were so many problems in the movement back then. Young boys and girls, they were living together. They were falling down sometimes, many times even. And things were going on. But Krishna still, it's like sometimes you take from a fire, a stone from a fire, you have to put up with the smoke and the heat. But you still take the stone and you don't mind the smoke, and eventually that goes away. So this is the Krishna consciousness movement. So the Krishna consciousness movement is very liberal in accommodating everybody. And at the same time, we also understand that for those advancing, who are serious about advancing in spiritual life, that they become very strict. So last example I want to give of Krishna's independent. So, to finish the story of the Bhaumasura, just after, this is also important, so after Krishna defeated Bhaumasura, he returned the earrings to Aditi and everybody, and he restored things. They were in heaven, and Satyabhama was with him, and Satyabhama wanted the parijata flower because Krishna had bought a parijata flower for her, and now she wanted one. And then Krishna said, "Why only one flower? Why not get this whole tree?" Because Krishna could understand that the rivalry between the wives, that you got something, then she wants something even better. So she took the tree, and with this, Indra came to fight with Krishna. Actually, it was very interesting. Indra was actually willing to let Krishna take the tree, but then Indra's wives came to him and said, "How can you let him take the tree? What do you do? You're Indra. All these things." So even in the heavenly planets, you have this the relationship between husband and wife is there, and the wife can nag the husband and make him do things that he doesn't want to do. So if Indra is subject to this, how are we ordinary men in this world going to be able to resist this? Therefore, Srila Prabhupada comments when he's commenting on Bhishma Dev's teachings to Yudhisthira, that the women are more powerful than men because they can make men do things. So that's the women's special power. So they made Indra fight with Krishna, and Indra, so he's fighting with Krishna. And why is he fighting with Krishna? And Krishna, of course, easily defeats him. But this is the fault of worshiping Krishna for material benefit. That as soon as the material benefit is obtained, then the reason for worshiping Krishna is gone. And so in this episode, that we also see that that the respect that Indra was giving to Krishna went away as soon as he got everything, and then he still went and fought with Krishna. So mixed devotional service or service for the sake of obtaining something material is therefore discouraged. It will not help, it's temporary, it's impermanent, and ultimately in the end it will not give the desired result. You will not get Krishna prema in that way. So one final example about Krishna's independence is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was receiving, and the devotees receiving so many devotees coming from Bengal, coming into Jagannath Puri for the 4 months for the Rath Yatra and the 4 months Chaturmasya. Govinda came. So Ishvara Puri had just disappeared. He had just left his body. And so Ishvara Puri ordered Govinda and another servant to go and serve Lord Chaitanya. So Govinda came, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how is it that Ishvara Puri, being a Brahmin, accepted a servant as a disciple from a Shudra? Because according to the rules and regulations, that is also not allowed. So Mahaprabhu says, so this is from the Madhya Lila, says, Prabhu kahi Ishvarahaya Paramasvatantra Ishvarera Kripa Nahi Veda Paratantra. So he said, both the Supreme Personality of Godhead and my spiritual master, Ishvara Puri, are completely independent. Therefore, neither the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that of Ishvara Puri is subject to any Vedic rules and regulations. So, in this regard, there's some very nice examples. Just like Krishna took lunch and ate at the home of Vidura, with Vidura. So, though Vidura was a Shudra, and Brahmanas, by regulation, are not supposed to associate with the Shudra, Krishna nonetheless associated. Well, Krishna is a Kshatriya, is also a Dvija. He's nonetheless associated with Vidura very closely. So therefore, Mahaprabhu clarified. He says, Sneha Leshapeksha matra Shri Krishna Kripara Snehavasha Hanyakara Svatantra Achara. Lord Krishna's mercy is dependent only on affection. Being obliged, Lord Krishna acts very independently. So this is why Krishna acts independently. It's out of his affection. It's out of his lila. And as we've understood before, that Krishna, he is, because he's created these rules and regulations, because he's created the Varnashram system, he's created everything. He is not independent. Everything is dependent on him, but he is not dependent on anyone else, except affection. That's the only thing that Krishna is obliged to. So therefore, the relationship between Krishna and his devotees is a very sweet thing. It's just like the gopis. The gopis rendered such wonderful selfless service to Krishna that Krishna said, I can never repay you. How is it the Supreme Lord, who's the origin of everything, can never repay the gopis? It's because it's only affection. Therefore, Krishna is more affectionate to the gopis, and the gopis become even more affectionate to Krishna. So in this way, the affection between the Lord and his devotees is ever increasing. It's ever expanding, ever increasing without limit. So here Shishupal, although blaspheming Krishna, is actually praising Krishna. That is the truth of it. That is the truth behind his words. So he doesn't care for the regulations because Krishna is only dependent on the affection. That is why he accepted the queens that were stolen by Bhaumasura. That is why Ishwarapuri, he accepted the Govinda Dev, although a Shudra. That is why Srila Prabhupada, he could accept so many disciples, even more fallen as his disciples, and do very wonderful things. So this is another quality that we can tell who is a very great devotee, that they can do very wonderful things that no one else can do. So Prabhupada, he did this by purifying so many otherwise fallen people. Who can do that? That's a real test of a devotee. So as we advance in Krishna consciousness, we should also be able to advance in being able to give Krishna consciousness to others. So that's a sign that one is making advancement. Because Krishna consciousness is so wonderful. Srila Prabhupada spoke like this. Vedic culture is so wonderful that everybody should have it. That's the thing. That's the wonderful thing. So not just Vedic culture, the Krishna consciousness, Krishna is really what makes it. Why do we want to become Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Shudras? Because Krishna's mother's father, friends, were also Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, Shudras. Isn't it? Vasudeva and Devaki, they were Kshatriyas. They followed the principles of the Kshatriya. Nanda and Yashoda, they also were Vaishyas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's parents, Jagannath Mishra, Sachi Mata, they were Brahmanas. So why should we not want to follow in their footsteps? They accepted, why should we not accept? They don't need to accept because they're svatantra, they're independent. But they do because this is what Krishna likes to do. This is how Krishna likes to appear. This is what, Krishna likes to engage in these activities. So therefore we should also do. Just like rock stars. Rock stars, they wear certain clothes and everybody starts wearing their clothes. We're just like that. Krishna for us is like a rock star. Of course, much greater than a rock star. Rock stars have bad habits. They get into drugs and so forth like that. So, but not Krishna. Never Krishna. He doesn't like that. So there's 5 minutes left here. I've covered a lot of ground for this purport, but it's just like, a drop of nectar is unlimited. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is unlimited. So even a drop of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy has unlimited potency. So I'd like to stop here and take any questions or comments. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, in the back.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Now, here Shishupal is criticizing Krishna so much, and Acharyas are giving Saraswatika Arthas, how
Yeah.
it is suitable for Krishna.
Yeah.
How to deal with the criticism on Vaishnavas. When somebody is criticizing on Vaishnavas, how to deal? Hare Krishna.
Well, kind of depends on the Vaishnava. Actually, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur wrote an essay on this about the what is Vaishnava aparad. So, in order to understand what is Vaishnava aparad and how to deal with it, whatever, he said one should understand who is a Vaishnava first. So, according to Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in his essay, one who has chanted the holy name of Krishna at least once is a Vaishnava. He's chanted it purely. So purely means it's not Nama Bas, and it's not with Nama Parad. So, who has chanted purely once, one of his symptoms is he's actually lost interest in material life. Maybe, of course, if he's chanted it once purely, that means other times he's not chanting it purely, but he's done it at least once. So such a person is considered a Vaishnava. This is, below that those who have yet to chant the holy name purely, they are Vaishnava Praya. Okay, so they're aspiring to be Vaishnavas. They have heard from the Shastras, they know, they understand what is, they have some understanding of pure devotion, but they have yet to chant purely once. And so they are considered on the level of a Brahmana, actually. Those devotees who are Vaishnava Praya, they're on the level of a Brahmana, but they're not Vaishnav yet. So offense against a Brahmana is a very serious thing, okay? But an offense against a Vaishnava, that is practically unforgivable. This will ruin your life for many millions and millions of births. So, if the question is, how does the Vaishnava deal with it? Is that your question? How do we personally, as Vaishnavas, deal with criticism, or?
No, someone who is criticizing on Prabhupada or ISKCON, or some pure Vaishnava like that.
Yeah. Okay, so if he's criticizing, then the Acharyas are shown how to understand his criticism. You'll understand it like this, because they're expert grammarians. They can come up with this explanation and explain it to us. We're not expert grammarians, but we must know that somehow or other that, Krishna is speaking something that's true, and we'll leave it up to the expert Uttama Adhikari Acharyas to give us the explanation for that. In the meantime, we should not tolerate such blasphemy. That's also so we act according to our adhikar. So our adhikar is if we can defeat them, we can defeat them, if we're strong enough. Or we go away, or we commit suicide. Those are the three options given by Rupa Goswami for sadhakas. So that's how we deal with the blasphemy of a Vaishnava.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Another question I have.
Is there anybody else that has a question? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, once Indra, Indra understood that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead in Govardhan lifting pastimes. And he offered prayers also. And here we see again he is stopping Krishna for taking the whole Parijat trees. Again he got bewildered. So how to understand this? Indra again and again getting bewildered.
Yeah, this is the fault of mixed bhakti. If you maybe have some devotion, but you also have some sense desire. You have some your desires are impure, and so therefore we see that the demigods, they're alternatively offending Krishna and praising Krishna. So just like Daksha Maharaj. So Daksha Maharaj, he, after offending Lord Shiva and getting the head of a goat and then giving up his body because, that's a very awful thing to have the head of a goat. So he took birth as a kshatriya. There was a punishment for his offense, actually. He didn't take birth in a Brahmin family, he took birth as a kshatriya. And so he's still Prajapati, he's still to expand the population. So Daksha Maharaj then gives many prayers to Lord Vishnu personally. And he's praying that, my dear Lord, please give me this potency that I can expand, I can have many, many children, many, many good sons. So that's also not pure. And still Lord Vishnu appeared before him and he gave him that benediction. And he said that you and your sons, out of envy, because of envy, you're going to stay in this material world. You're not going to get, you're only a partial recipient of my mercy. You have this mercy of enjoying material life, but you don't have this mercy. And therefore, we see that after he got the mercy of the Lord, when Narada Muni came to purify his sons and made him devotees, Daksha again cursed him, blasphemed him. So this is why maintaining material attachments is a losing proposition. This is why we have to actually get beyond this. And we really can't do that unless we actually get the mercy of the devotee, the mercy of the devotee, the mercy of the guru. It just won't come. So that's the way out. Does that answer your question? Hare Krishna. Would any of my seniors like to comment and chant? My elders, wiser, more knowledgeable elders. We'll end class here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.